Hi guys, welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Gabby and I like to talk about books. Okay, so I know I haven't made a video in like a minute. I fell off reading a little bit. I had a little bit of a reading slump, but we're back in it. We're back in the game. I'm ready to go. I read some things that really kind of threw me back into it. So with that being said, let's go ahead, let's get into the wrap up of November and December. So the first book that I read in November was The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. This book is basically about a girl named Jude. Our main character is Jude. She's our FMC. Our MMC is Cardin. I believe that's his name, yeah. And basically Jude and her sisters there's a tragedy that happens in the beginning of the book and they get taken into the fairy realms and raised there. And it just kind of tells Jude's story of her like growing up in the fairy realms, the things that she's had to go through, things that she's had to overcome, finding out who she is at her core and what she wants. I really enjoyed this book. This was my first introduction to Holly Black. You could definitely tell that it was YA, but it didn't take away from it. I love this world. I thought it was so magical in the way that it was spelled out. I was able to picture everything. It was probably one of the most magical realms I've ever read about. I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars. I think Jude is a badass. Jude is probably one of my top FMCs of all time. That girl, don't mess with my girl Jude, okay? She knows what she wants and she's gonna go get it, and she has a plan. If anything I've learned about Jude, she's gonna figure it out. But this is actually it's the first book in like a series, and then there's like a side series and there's like small little novella, whatever, we'll get into it. But I really enjoyed it. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. I think the only thing that kind of threw me off from it was I didn't get that 5-star feeling, you know, but I went into it thinking that it was gonna be romantasy. It's not. This is like a political fantasy with like a romance subplot, I guess you could say, thrown in there. Like, it's not subtle, like it's kind of a bigger one, but it's there, but you're more so focused on Jude's story and the politics of the world, the war, the different types of creatures, things like that. And normally I'm a romantasy girly, but I really enjoyed it. Okay, so next I was definitely on my Folk of the Air series kick, and I picked up Wicked King. I'll put it here. I picked up Wicked King, which is the second book, and this just kind of further goes into, like, it picks up directly after, like it's a chronological story, and this still, our FMC is Jude and our MMC is Cardin. And this kind of a decision that Jude makes in The Cruel Prince, this kind of details that decision playing out. And you get a lot of Jude's inner monologue and kind of see how she's trying to juggle a lot of different balls and wear a lot of different hats and figure things out as she goes along as a young woman in this fairy realm. I gave this book a 5 out of 5 stars. Looking back, it's probably more like a 4.75, because I feel like if it was a 5-star, I would definitely like remember it more. Not to say I don't remember it, but it's a bookmark from where I think I finished it on my Kindle. But I think that I would remember it more. Oh gosh. If it was a full 5, so probably 4.75, but still amazing. My favorite book in the series. And then I read Queen of Nothing. I had to keep going. I could not get out of this world. So Queen of Nothing is the 3rd book in the Folk of the Air series. It, again, just goes through the story of Jude's actions and consequences. And kind of, I would say this one was it was much higher stakes than the other ones, but it's still YA. And I think this one is kind of where you see things unfold and you kind of see things come to a bit of a resolution. Yeah, that's really all I can say without spoiling it. Oh, and I gave Queen of Nothing 4 stars. Okay, so next, still in my Folk of the Air era, I'm telling you guys, I could not get enough of this. I read The Lost Sisters, which is it's like I gotta sit down. It's like a small little novella based on Jude's twin sister Taryn. I think that's how you say her name. And it's told from her point of view and why she made the decisions that she made and the things that were going through her mind when she made some not so great decisions. It's cute. I read it in one sitting and I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. It's pretty lyrical and it's storytelling, but enjoyable, and it's a nice little, like, it scratches that itch if you can't get enough of that world. Okay, so next. Do I even need to say anything? I love this book. This book is, well, let me just tell you what it's about. So basically there's this girl named Ophelia and she enters the game of Phantasma. Phantasma is, I think it's a week long, 9 days. Okay, whatever, it doesn't say it on the back, but it's basically like a week or whatever, however many days long. And you have these levels that you have to play inside the game of Phantasma, which is in like a haunted house that just appears in different cities. And each night is a different level, and each level is based on one of the like realms of hell. So like there's limbo, there's lust, gluttony, you know what I mean? Like just going through all the different, what is it, like circles of hell. Each level is based on one, and you're following, like I said, Ophelia and her journey and why she's there. Basically, she's there to try to save her sister following their mother's death because they, I don't want to spoil it for you. Well, I guess it's not really a spoiler. Basically, their mother dies, and if you win Phantasma, you get one wish granted. And Ophelia is going to try to use it to basically make sure her and her sister are good and they're set up and they're safe, base everything, because after their mother's passing, their house starts to get foreclosed on. All these unfortunate events start to unfold, and Ophelia is thinking that this is her ticket. I did not expect this book to have like the spice level that it did. Not that I'm anti-spice, I'll take it, but I just wasn't expecting it. This book wrapped its little claws around me, clung to me, and had me up until 4 o'clock in the morning on a work night reading when I had to be up at 5:30. At the time I gave this 4 stars. I look back and I kind of want to give it, and I only say that because like maybe the writing a little bit, maybe I give it a 4.5. Yeah, I'll give it a 4.5. I definitely want to reread it and see if my rating changes because I can't stop thinking about this book. I love this book, which makes me think it would be a 5, but I feel like it just didn't meet my 5-star criteria because I was able to me a 5-star is like, I love it, there's nothing wrong with it, it's perfect in every single way. And I don't think I fully felt that way about this book. I think the ending, I wasn't a huge fan of the ending. The plot twist was nice. Okay, sorry. My camera just stopped recording. I had to delete some other stuff on the, what is it called? The chip? Whatever. There's not enough storage left. But anyway, I almost forgot. One of the biggest things, the main character, she has OCD. As someone with diagnosed OCD, the representation in this was phenomenal. It was incredible. It really showcased how it's not just, people think OCD is just, oh, you have to have something clean all the time. Like girlies. That's not it. It really painted the picture of what intrusive thoughts look like and how they can truly just take a hold on your actions and on your life and influence you even if you don't want them to. So I really love that representation in this book. Highly, highly recommend it. Okay, and then I had to get back into my Folk of the Air series. I'm telling y'all, I love this world because it was like nothing was hitting. And then I read Phantasma and I was like, I gobbled it up. And then I was like, oh my gosh, like I need to scratch that same itch. But I couldn't find anything that I was like even remotely interested in. So I went back and I read another little like side novella, which is called How the King of L Fame Learned to Hate Stories. And that kind of talks about Prince Carden's background, his childhood upbringing. It's pretty sad. I will give that. Child neglect, abuse, things like that. But it kind of details his story and his growing up, and you kind of follow him through his life up until where they're at now. Pretty interesting. I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. Finished it in one sitting. Yeah, recommend it if you can't get enough of the world. I read a little novella on my Kindle called Cruel Winter with You by Ali Hazelwood. This was like, sometimes I think they get together and like there's different romance authors and they write little meet cutes and little novellas and they get published on Kindle. And this was one of those. I don't even remember our FMC and MMC's names, but basically they were like, I think it's brother's best friend, or no, best friend's brother. And it goes through like their story. It's one of those things where it's like, I want you, oh, we shouldn't be together. No, but I want you anyway. Oh, but I'm no good. I'm not good enough for you. It kind of one of those. I mean, it was cute. It was interesting. It was a little cozy. It was atmospheric. I gave it a 3 out of 5. It was a nice little palate cleanser. Next, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Kingfisher. Hey, this honker of a book. This book was incredible. This book, it's like there's fae, there's alchemy, there's vampires, there's spies. There's a foul-mouthed MMC who's morally dark gray. And I loved every part of it. I will say, the beginning was a little bit slow for me. It was a little bit hard for me to get into, but I had seen oh my God. I had seen in a video somewhere that someone said like the beginning was a little slow for them too, but then kind of once they got into it, they were hooked. And the exact same thing happened to me. I gave this a 4.5 stars out of 5. The only reason it wasn't a 5 is because, like I said, the beginning was hard for me to get into. You're kind of just thrown into the world and you learn about the world as the FMC, Cyrus, the FMC, is going through things. Nothing really gets explained. It's more show than tell, which I like and I appreciate. It was just a little bit hard to visualize at first. But as the story went on, I got more used to it. I got more used to the writing style. And weirdly, my biggest quip with this book was it kind of felt like the author, Girly, was using thesaurus.com. Like some of the words, I'm like, oh, what does that word mean? And I look it up and I'm like, this is very loose. Like I can tell what the author is trying to say. And this very loosely fits that definition of what she's trying to fit into this. But it looks cooler, kind of pretentious in a way. Something I would do on a college essay to look smarter. It had multiple times of that. So I don't know if the author is just versed in very like niche vocabulary or if she truly was trying to make simple words sound more interesting. I didn't like that. I didn't even say this is Quicksilver if no one picked up on it by now, by Kelly Hart. Yeah, but amazing book. Oh my gosh, I don't even know where to start. The Cyrus basically is an alchemist. Alchemist is someone who like can, I guess, control elements. So but she doesn't fully know it, but she can control metals. So long story short, she's a thief in this very, very poor ward of like different ward levels in this world. Again, it's not really explained to you. You're just kind of thrust into it. And then she gets caught, has to go to the Queen's castle. And when she's there, she accidentally unlocks this pool of Quicksilver, and out of it, Kingfisher comes and drags her back to the fairy realms where chaos ensues. And basically Kingfisher's like, I'm not letting you go. Clearly you're an alchemist if you activated the Quicksilver. I'm not letting you go until you forge however many weapons me and my army need, which is like 15,000. And then it kind of goes from there. It's enemies to lovers and like actually enemies. My only thing is it's a slow burn in the sense of like actual caring about each other. It's not so much of a slow burn when it comes to like physical attraction, but actually caring about each other. I don't even think there's a scene about actually caring about each other until like over 300 pages in, which I really enjoyed, because you would get the yearning. Kingfisher is definitely a tortured soul. I grew to really love him. And I like Saris too. That girl stands her ground. That girl stands her ground. I think her and Jude are my 2 top FMCs of the year. Carry On Swift, love Carry On. Didn't like him at first. He grows on you. I again stayed up until 4 o'clock in the morning reading this. Okay, and I think that is it. I feel like there was more, but I guess there's not. I like started a couple things, but didn't. Like I started Crescent City, but I didn't. I got like 10 pages in and didn't finish it, so I'm not counting that. I started Powerless and I got maybe like a chapter in and stopped, so I'm not counting that. Right now I'm reading Scarred by Emily McIntyre. McIntyre? Whatever. I'm almost done with it. It's really, really good. I will likely pick up the rest of the Never After series, except Twisted. So I looked up the trigger warnings for them, and Twisted has a trigger warning in there that I'm not comfortable reading about, which is child SA. As a mother, I just can't read about it. I can't do it. So I probably won't pick that one up. Oh yeah, I tried to start the Cinnamon Bun bookstore. Didn't get too far into it. I'm telling you, nothing was really hitting after I read The Folk of the Air. I was just I really wanted that itch scratch, and Phantasma got it, Quicksilver got it. But then I was like, I need to get out. Like, I need to branch off. Like, I'm only reading Romantasy. Like, let me get back into something else, because I enjoy reading a variety of genres. So I was like, okay, I can't go from like this, like The Spice, The Dirty Mouth, if you know, you know. I can't go from that to like something like this. Like, I can't, ow, I just hit my finger. Like, I can't go, it's not going. Like, I can't go to that. I need to slowly work my way down, because if not, nothing's gonna hit. I really want to read Funny Story by Emily Henry, but I know if I went from Quicksilver to Funny Story, it would not, because I still need that aggressiveness in an MMC. Like, I can't go from Kingfisher to like Augustus from Beach Read, you know? Okay, that is all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. I intend to get more consistent with my videos. I know they're kind of sporadic. I'm a full-time working mother of 3. Give me a little bit of grace. I'm doing what I can. But yeah, I appreciate you guys being along for the ride. Let me know your favorite book up to, oh, I don't even know what my favorite book of 2024 was. This is not a 2024 wrap-up. Scratch it. Still let me know. Maybe I'll make a different video. I'm rambling. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. Okay, bye.